Have you ever noticed that the beliefs that you have about yourself leave you trapped? Now, what I mean by that is the beliefs that you actually have about your life, about yourself, about who you are, oftentimes will leave you trapped in a toxic relationship and will leave you trapped thinking you can't get out of a toxic relationship. How many of you watching today would say like, hey, this is me. I feel trapped in the relationship. Like type in trapped underneath, because I need you to understand, like there is more than one person on here watching this today that's like, I feel trapped in this relationship and I don't know how I can leave. I don't know if leaving is even possible. I don't know if I even believe that I'm able to leave. Now, I want you to take a moment today and I want you just to pause and just stop for a second. And I want you to consider the possibility that you can. I'm not asking you to understand how, and I'm not asking you to say, oh, I need to have a roadmap today of how to do it. I'm just asking you to say for a moment, hey, for this video today, can you for a moment just step into the realm of possibility of like, I actually can leave? Just do that for me with me. Okay? Because I want you to think through this concept of being trapped in the toxic relationship. And not necessarily from the frame of being trapped by him. Yes, there's different places of financial abuse and physical abuse, so I'm not minimizing those. But I want you to consider for a moment is there's a piece of you that feels like you can't get out of it. There's a piece of you that feels like you can't leave. There's a piece of it that feels like it is impossible for you to move forward. Just consider for a moment that that belief is something that currently is inside of you. Not something that he's holding you back or pushing you down or keeping you stuck. Okay, just bear with me for a second and let's work through this. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to provide awareness about narcissistic abuse. I'm the founder of Raw Motivations and the creator of the Clarity Challenge. I'm your guide through that, helping walk you through a 45-day evolution of you discovering you and understanding how to break free of the trauma bond, the rumination, the intrusive thoughts, the guilt of being with the narcissist, of breaking free, of going no contact, all those things. You can access that at going to claritychallenge.net and utilize some of the tools that I use personally on a day-to-day basis that help me transform my mindset, my thought process every single day. But more than that, that help you break out of the limiting beliefs, the ideas, the thoughts that keep you stuck for such a long period of time. Many of you right now watching this video have been stuck in a toxic relationship for a good period of time, whether that is just 1 month of intensity or whether that's 10 years of complexity of how this person has showed up and how you're confused. So I get it. But I want you to understand that there's a piece of fear-inducing beliefs that start happening. Now, oftentimes these are impressed upon you and pushed upon you from the toxic person, from the narcissist. But then you start to have beliefs about yourself that shape your reality and end up contributing to these pieces of fear and anxiety that will leave you in the fog, that will leave you stuck in the fear, the obligation, the guilt of being in a toxic relationship and thinking, I can't get out. What I want you to consider is some of the chains that are holding you into the relationship and that are keeping you bonded together with this person. Some of those chains are your own limiting beliefs. Like the thought process of you're not good enough. The thought process of not having enough self-esteem, or the thought process of like, I can't do this on my own, and not having the confidence to be able to see you've already been doing it on your own because you haven't had the support. You haven't had the connection with this person. But this whole piece of these fear-based ideas, these thought process, fear and anxiety, how this will actually keep you stuck because it'll start to limit your mind. The thoughts and the beliefs that you have about you are so powerful. You might have heard the phrase or the idea, if you think you can't, you can't. Because what you think is what ends up happening. The limiting thoughts that you think ends up being the ones that contribute to not being able to do the things that you want to do. And so when you're stuck in a toxic relationship, part of what comes up is like, I can't do this, so therefore you can't. And you will stay stuck. Now, I say that and it comes across almost like trite or like super easy. And I'm not saying that to diminish the situation that you're in. I'm saying it to give you a different awareness. Remember I said like, hey, stop for a second, consider a possibility, a different possibility. What if you had control over this? What if you had the possibility that you could say, these are the beliefs that I have that are keeping me trapped? Because some of you right now are trapped in the relationship. Some of you are trapped out of the relationship. What do I mean by that? I mean, you've already broken up or you've gone no contact. You've been away from this person for a period of time. 1 month, 5 months, 10 years. You've been away from this person in time and you are still trapped. You're still stuck. Maybe not to the same level, to the same degree, but your confidence has been impacted. It shows up of the things you do at work, of the decisions you make. It shows up in how you interact with others. Your self-esteem has struggled, which is why you only dress in certain clothes, why you are worried about different aspects of life, why you're worried about how this person is going to think about you, or the perception they're going to have about you, about how you show up. There's still pieces of your mind that are still trapped, that are still limited by the beliefs that you carry forward. If you believe that you're unworthy, if you believe that you're inadequate, if you believe that you're deserving of the mistreatment, these beliefs perpetuate this cycle of fear and anxiety, especially after being consistently having this exposed to you in the toxicity and having it blamed upon you for you feeling that way. Do you see what I'm saying here? Like, these beliefs will control you. You will slowly construct a prison in your own mind that keeps you stuck in the rumination, in the trauma bond, in the thought process because of fear. And it adds a bar to the cage. Because of anxiety, and it adds a bar to the cage. Because of unworthiness, and it adds a bar to the cage. Keeping you trapped and locked in for a long period of time because of the beliefs that you have about you. Consider for a moment inside the relationship, you have the narcissist constantly pouring all this negativity, negative beliefs onto you over and over and over again. And over a period of time, you start to believe that all of that pouring of negativity is natural, that all that pouring of negativity is fresh water, when in reality, it's toxic sludge. And then when you get out of the relationship, you're like, oh, I need some more of that because I don't have this fresh water coming over here. No, I don't like this. Let me push this away. Oh, this one's toxic. Let me get more of this stuff, because it starts to feel like it is your reality. But in reality, it is the beliefs that you have about you. He called you unworthy for such a long period of time. You feel unworthy, so then you only go to something that makes you feel unworthy because it seems to validate that unworthiness, which feels like it's validating you, but it's not. Is validating a limiting belief, a mindset that is toxic, that got pressed upon you, from early childhood, that got pressed upon you in your religion, in your education, in your previous partners, in the person that you're with currently right now. It gets pressed upon you and pushed to a place that you think that's who you are. You start to believe it. You start to internalize that you're not good enough because you're responsible for his happiness. That you're responsible for the things that he did. You're responsible for the fact that he cheated on you. And you start to play these things over and over and over in your head, and it starts to eat you apart. In and out of the relationship. Because you leave the relationship, and after being out of the relationship, this belief of anxiety gets triggered. Whenever you think about setting your own boundaries, whenever you think about sticking up for yourself, whenever you think about being confident and moving forward, it gets triggered because of the story that was told to you and the belief that you now have about you. Consider that the beliefs that you have about you run your entire frame of life. They run your existence, they run your thought process, they run the stories that you tell yourself. They run everything. And if you're not careful, the beliefs about you will leave you in a cage that doesn't let you move. That doesn't let you be free. So first piece is just understanding, hey, this is your current frame of reference. Now we have to actually work on breaking you out of it. Breaking you out of looking at, wait a second, if I tell myself this belief, is it actually true? You're like, yeah, it's true. It's what he told me. Is it actually true? Well, yeah, no, it is true. Can you know 100% that it is actually true? There might be a piece of it that's not true. Okay? What would that be? Well, I have had confidence for years before him because of how I showed up in this way. Okay, good. What else would that be? Well, I show up in confident areas in my work. Like I do really good job at my work. I work really hard. I'm able to progress. Okay, that's great. What are the evidence? And you start to list out this evidence of the things that actually are opposite of what you believe. And then you work on shifting your belief. Because if you don't shift your belief, you'll stay behind those bars that you've created, that have been oppressed upon you, and you've also built. But you need to understand, if you resonate with this today and you feel like you're trapped in a prison, it also means that you can get out. I'm not painting a picture of the narcissist that has you physically chained to a wall. I'm painting a picture of the narcissist saying you're chained to a wall and you feeling like you're physically chained to a wall, but it's all in your mind. I say that carefully because I'm not trying to make it seem trite and I'm not trying to make it seem small. But what I'm trying to illustrate and have you understand is the beliefs that you have about you on a day-to-day basis will continue to perpetuate the same reality in the future. The belief that you have about you right here, right now, right today, that you can't do this, that you can't be free, that you can't move forward, that you can't heal, that you can't do it on your own, that it's impossible, that you don't have the confidence, that you don't have the self-esteem, that you're not sure if you can even handle this on your own. All of those are your own beliefs that can be changed, modified, grown, transformed into the person you actually want to be. But that depends on your commitment to that result. That depends on your willingness to move forward and to transform. By attacking the beliefs that you have in your mind that are not validated by the facts, that are not validated by truth, but have been imposed upon you from toxic person to toxic person to toxic person, leaving you stuck and leaving you believing that you're stuck. And last thing, and I'll close with this. When you think about elephants are trained at a very young age that they get, I believe it's like a rope, not necessarily tied around them, but like on their ear or something like that. I don't remember the exact details. But then it gets put on this peg. Maybe it's like a young elephant, it's like on a tree or a peg or whatever, but they start to realize like, oh, I can't pull on this because it won't let me go anywhere. And then as the elephant grows and grows and grows, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. They still use the same peg. Like you still use the same size. And at this point, like the elephant is like multiple tons and could just rip a peg out of the ground and trample over a car, but it doesn't because it's been trained that way. Right now, there is a peg tied to a string that's holding you in one spot right now. And I look at it from this perspective to let you know that there are hundreds and hundreds of people that have uprooted that peg and have broken that string and have moved forward in their growth and development. But I need you to understand that for the people who have done it, they have realized that it was a peg and a string. For the people that were not willing to understand or think of a different perspective, that peg is a mountain and it's chained to something that you can never get free from. Because until we work on your beliefs about you, you will not have the confidence to leave. You will not have the confidence to grow. Don't let anything stand in your way of you growing to be the person that you're called to be. Not a person, not a mindset, not a thought process, not a belief about you. It's time for you to be free. Reach out today for help. Go to rawmotivations.com, click on the one-on-ones. We'll love to walk you through what we do inside of Raw Motivations. I'd love to partner with you inside of our Thriver community, helping you move, grow, and thrive to be the person you're called to be.